Okay, do me a favor. Just take a breath. In and out. We do it all day, every day, without even thinking about it. It's the first thing we do when we're born, and the last thing we'll ever do. But have you ever stopped to wonder about the sheer scale of it all? So let's just jump right in with that question. How much air will you actually breathe in your entire life? And I promise you, the answer, well, it's going to change the way you think about this simple little thing you do all the time. All right, first things first, let's get our heads around the numbers. And trust me on this, they are absolutely mind-boggling. On any given day, it doesn't matter if you're running a marathon or just binge watching a show on the couch. Your lungs process about 11,000 liters of air. That's a huge amount. And believe me, we are just getting started. Okay, now let's zoom out a bit. Over the course of a single year, that number just balloons to around 4 million liters of air, an absolutely staggering amount of air passing through your body. And here's the big one. Over an average lifetime, you're going to breathe more than 300 million liters of air. Now, a number that huge is kind of hard to wrap your head around, right? It's just a number. So let's try to visualize it.
I want you to picture a skyscraper, a really big one. Now imagine filling that entire building with air, from the lobby all the way to the penthouse. That is how much air will pass through just your lungs in your lifetime. It's an incredible thought, isn't it?
So we've nailed down the how much a skyscraper's worth. But what's actually in all that air? And how does our body use it to, keep the lights on? Well, this might actually surprise you. The air we breathe is mostly not oxygen. It's about 78% nitrogen. The life-giving stuff we actually need, the oxygen, that only makes up about 21% of any given breath. And get this, our bodies are ridiculously efficient. Of that 21% oxygen we breathe in, we only use a little bit. When you exhale, your breath is still about 17% oxygen. We're just sipping what we need from each breath, just enough to power our entire existence. So where does the magic happen? How do we actually pull that oxygen out? Well, it all comes down to these things called alveoli. You have something like 480 million of these microscopic air sacs in your lungs. They're the tireless, frontline workers of your respiratory system. Now, here's another one of those crazy numbers. If you could somehow take all those millions of tiny sacs and spread them all out flat, they'd cover a surface area of about 70 square meters. What does that mean in the real world? It means you are walking around with the surface area of half a tennis court, folded up neatly inside your chest. Yeah, half a tennis court, all working 24/7 just to grab oxygen from the air. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so we've gone from the huge scale of a skyscraper down to the microscopic level of the alveoli. Now let's zoom way, way out and see how this very personal act of breathing is actually part of a massive global conversation. It's this beautiful, perfect cycle, isn't it? We breathe in the oxygen, which is basically a gift from the plants, and then we breathe out the carbon dioxide, which is our gift right back to them. It's the ultimate, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours relationship on a planetary scale. So with every single breath, you're not just taking something from the planet. You're participating with it. You're in a constant dialogue with every tree, every blade of grass, and all the algae in the ocean. You are part of the rhythm of the earth. Now, if you thought the skyscraper and the tennis court were cool, get ready, because this is where things get truly mind-bending. Your breath doesn't just connect you to what's alive today, it connects you to everything that has ever lived. In one single breath, just one puff of air, there are roughly 10 to the power of 22 molecules. That's a 10 with 22 zeros after it. It's a number so huge our brains can't really even process it. So what? Why does that number matter? Well, because over centuries and millennia, all those molecules in our atmosphere get mixed up. They spread out perfectly and evenly all across the entire globe, which means the air you're breathing right now, it's been around. It's been everywhere. And this is the wildest part. Statistically speaking, in the very next breath you take, you will inhale molecules that were once breathed by everyone. I'm talking Julius Caesar, Cleopatra, even dinosaurs. You are, quite literally, breathing in history. Just let that sink in for a second. So let's bring this all back home. We've talked about the scale, the biology, and the incredible history. What does all of this mean for us right here, right now? It means your breath is this incredible paradox. On the one hand, it's the most private thing you do, it's essential for your survival. But on the other, it's drawn from a completely shared resource. It's an ancient connection to the past and a real-time conversation with the earth, all happening automatically about 16 times a minute.
That whole skyscraper of air you'll process in your life, it's so much more than just fuel. It's your connection to, well, to everything. It's a continuous exchange that defines what it means to be alive on this planet.
And I'll leave you with this one last thought. The air inside your lungs, right this second, was once inside someone else's, maybe on the other side of the world, maybe thousands of years ago. So if we all physically share something as fundamental and ancient as the air itself, what does that mean for how we share everything else? Something to think about with your next breath.